So this is big. One of the things I'm always curious about, because of course everybody, or a lot of people think of you as Jermaine Dupri, the producer, the rapper, so many pieces, right? But what I really wanted to bring you here was talk about Jermaine Dupri, the entrepreneur. And I'm curious, when you were starting out, did you ever view it from the beginning as, hey, this is a business, I'm an entrepreneur, or was it more like the creative side of you that drove it?
I started out so young, I don't know what I was thinking about. Of course it's a business, right?
Right.
But when you broke, it's just trying to get, you know what I mean? You're just trying to get somewhere. You're not thinking about the business aspect. You're creating business, but you don't really think like you're building a business.
At what point did you really get to the point where you like, hey, this is a business, and we creating something and we building something. I want something that's going to last and have longevity.
When I created Kriss Kross, I was 17, and then when Kriss Kross started selling millions of records, and I was doing everything. I was telling them how to dress. I was telling the record company what to do promotion-wise. I was basically, facilitating all areas. And that's when I realized that, like, wait a minute, I'm a business. I know exactly how to do this, I think, right? I'm doing it with this group, so I could possibly do it, with somebody else. And that's when the idea to have a record company came to life.
Since you were so young back then, did you have a team around you supporting you? If so, like, what did that look like leading the team when you were like 17, 18? Or was it just you just kind of...
I talk about this all the time. I was too young to even know, I'm from College Park, so I didn't really go to, I couldn't come downtown Atlanta because I was too young. So I never even had the opportunity to like meet engineers, to meet interns, and there wasn't nobody interning at my mom's house. They weren't, my mother wasn't gonna have that. Didn't nobody know what this was. So, no, I didn't really have a team. I had one, I had a friend that was like my best friend that was watching the situation, but for the most part, no team.
I love it. Now, one of the things that came up, we were talking about bringing you here, right? And some of the team was talking about your longevity in the business, because we see a lot of people come, but a lot of people go, but you consistently have like been here. Is that strategic? Is the piece to it? Is it just like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of following the path that goes and I'm there? Or like how do you, stay relevant for so long?
It's very strategic because it's funny, I live by this motion that I didn't know that I was living by, and I heard T.D. Jakes say it one day. It's in the clock starts over. It goes through 1 through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, then it starts over again. And successful people sometimes forget that that's what you should do. You should mirror the clock, right? So I've always been mirroring the clock without knowing this. You know what I mean? Every time I get a new artist, I'm starting over at 1. I'm not staying at 10 and bringing the group out at 10 or 11. I'm starting at 1. So when you see me on the road with them and I'm doing promotions and I'm going to radio stations and I'm doing all this stuff to introduce you guys to a new artist, it's funny because when I'm going to do that, all of these guys that's working at these places, they like, damn, Jermaine, you too big. We don't get people that come through here and do this all the time. And that's the reason why I'm here so long, because I continue to keep starting over. And I don't fear starting over. It's people that get successful and they get to 12 and they be like popping and they getting all this money and they fear starting over. I have no fear of starting over.
With doing so much work with so many artists, having so many personal highs, like to you, what are the things that stand out? Is anything stand out that's been like a highlight of your career and a career that so many good things have happened in?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of different highlights. I mean, getting into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, thank you. It opened a door for me to realize something in life that I hadn't realized. And what that was that the world had never seen a Jermaine Dupri before Jermaine Dupri, right? And you know, it's hard to say this in the game that I'm in because people always think I'm trying to be cocky, and I'm being realistic. Like, inside the Songwriters Hall of Fame, you know, you had Babyface and you had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and these guys are the closest to my generation, basically, but they were not from my generation. And it stopped. If I wouldn't have got inducted into there, it would have stopped with them, right? And you look at them, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they write music, they write songs, and they write R&B records and pop records. They never written rap songs for nobody, right? So, and then here comes a guy that writes rap songs and R&B songs and pop songs, and you know, I'm both, right? And like I said, I'm sitting in there watching people do this, and I realized in 40 years, it's an institution of 40 years that people have been going to Songwriters Hall of Fame. I'm like, damn, like in 40 years, they never saw a person like me come into that place, right? And that's pretty, you know, that's all I need to know, that I did something that, you know, had broken the ground for other people to get into at this point. So thank you.
Yep. You know, how hard was it to break that ground? A lot of times I hear people talk about how when you're the first one, it's the hardest one, right? And then once that person goes through the door, you know, the path is set. But when it isn't a path, you are the first one to kind of move through. Because I'm sure some of y'all, right, like in what you do, right, I see Cassandra right here shaking her head, right? Like, it may not be other people like you and you got something special. Like, what was that like being the first one? Like, I'm assuming there's times where people maybe try to put you in a box and say, don't do that thing or do other thing, or was it not? Like, was it just you just moving forward with it?
I mean, the introduction of the clock, like I said, I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but I did know that I wanted to start over, and that was the only way to get people off of the one thing that they was thinking about. So when Kriss Kross came out, they sold 8 million records, their first album. You know, they was on tour with Michael Jackson. So it was like, they was huge, right? It was the thing. So it's like, Jermaine Dupri, if he comes with another group, it's gotta be a rap group. And the majority of people think that you try to duplicate Kriss Kross, or you're gonna try to find him another boy, you know, little kid group or whatever it is. And immediately my mind was like, I gotta start over, right? I gotta find something else that I can do the exact same thing with Kriss Kross. So once they gave me my label, my first group that I signed was Xscape, right? Thank you. And the people was really concerned because they was like, this is R&B. You've never put out an R&B artist. You barely just got a rap group out. What makes you think you're gonna break this R&B group, right? And at that point, that's when I realized how much people don't understand the process of starting over, right? Because what they did was they put me back in the blender. So everything that I did with Kriss Kross, I had to do with Xscape. I had to go to conventions. I had to go to radio stations. I had to introduce them. I had to be in the forefront. And like I said, I don't fear that. I understand that that's the way that you got to walk to get to people to understand what's going on.
Hope y'all got that right. All right. And I'm curious, because in that time, you're talking about Kriss Kross touring with Michael Jackson, then Xscape came and they hit. Were you surprised at the size of it, right? Of course, we do things to be successful. Were you surprised that, hey, you know, the things have taken off as fast as they did, as big as they did, or was that your expectation the entire time?
I could lie and say it was my expectations. But how many people in here from Atlanta? All right. So all the people in here from Atlanta, you understand what I'm about to say. Kriss Kross is from Greenbrier Mall, man. To go from Greenbrier Mall to opening up for Michael Jackson is unheard of. It's not something you can forecast. It's not something you can say, I knew this was gonna happen. I definitely didn't see this happening. It definitely went past all expectations.
When you start out like that and hit a home run early in the game, what was the expectation in with Xscape? Was it like, hey, you know what, I want to do that same level of it, or was it just totally open to see where it went to?
No, you got to go into it with the same mind that you went into it beginning. Like, I didn't go into Kriss Kross saying, you guys are going to be the biggest group in the world. I just went into it saying, I believe I can tell you what's going to be successful, right? And what's successful to me is that once 10 people look at it, that's all I need. If I see 10 people that pay attention to one thing that I do, I'm at that point, my belief is that I can get 100 people to look. Because if them 10 people paid attention to it, I can get 100 people to pay attention to it. If I get 100 people to pay attention to it, I can get 2 million people to pay attention to it. That's just my mindset. So if I see people paying attention to it, then I'm already in the mix of being. And Xscape, they sung so beautifully, right? Without anything. They could sing anywhere, right? And once I heard them and I saw what they was doing to other people, I saw other people paying attention to them singing, and I'm like, okay, this might be easier than Kriss Kross, because, you know, their voices is just angelic to me. And once I heard them sing and once I saw them captivate a room, I was like, oh yeah, this might be, and, you know, and once you start believing in how much easier it might be, and how much more work all you got to do is put people in front of people if you have talented people.
During these processes, one of the questions that had come in was, when you face setbacks and challenges, how do you handle those, right? Like what's your process for handling them?
You said what number?
When you face setbacks and challenges.
Setbacks and challenges. I don't actually know what that is. And by the way, I'm saying this because, like I said, you got to remember, if you got a mentality like mine, where starting over is start over, that means that every process of starting over is a part of the start over. You don't start over just in theory, just to talk about it. That means I'm starting over with everything. So the setbacks came with the start over anyway, right? People saying no came with the beginning of me with Kriss Kross. Somebody told me no. This person said no. So those are expectations. The setback, I'm expecting that. If I don't get a setback, I'm tripping. I'm like, oh, this ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Yeah, something ain't right. This feels wrong. I need you to tell me no. I need somebody to close the door. I need somebody to tell me, oh, that ain't going to work. This is just it's fuel.
I'm curious. We were talking about music. I'm curious for you, because you've done so much in music and so many different iconic songs. Like Brandy was going through just 3 or 4 of them coming out. What are your favorite ones?
I think they all have different places, right?
Yeah.
Kriss Kross jumped obviously because that's how it jumped off. That's how it started. Nice and Slow that they played, which is Usher's first #1 record. You know, these are things that create life, right? So once this happened, then Usher is Usher that you guys see now in Vegas, and it's, you know, that because of that song. Money Ain't a Thing, me and Jay-Z, being that far ahead of the game before people was around here saying Jay-Z's name. When I did that song, people at Columbia Records was saying, why would you make a song with Jay-Z? Who is Jay-Z? Like, we have Nas, we have Mariah Carey on your album, you have Mace, you have all these different people, and you want to put out a record with Jay-Z. And I'm like, yeah. And, you know, it's just, you know, and it's just, like I said, it's a belief of what you believe in and watching it move forward. And that's so majority of these songs, and well, I won't forget the Mariah Carey record, because the We Belong Together became Song of the Decade, right? Thank you. I could never, ever forecast getting Song of the Decade. That's not something that you just, I'm going here and write Song of the Decade. Never. No way, right? So these songs all have their own certain place in my heart because they've done amazing things for myself and the artist.
Yeah. One of the questions that came in from you can go ahead. One of the questions that came in from the audience was, how do you find your target audience? So for each one of these projects or artists, like, do y'all start out with like, hey, here's a demographic that we want to target and go after for brand new artists, or is it just like, hey, I'm putting out product and kind of seeing who's attracted to it?
I actually don't know. It's just like I just wake up in the morning and it's just, it's what I was somebody just asked me that in the other room about relevance. And I'm like, I don't really even pay attention to that word. I don't know what that actually means because I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that people have created in their own world to believe what that is. If you relevant, you just relevant, and you got to be in life. You got to be in it, right? And I'm in it. I've been in it since I was 12, and I'm all the way in it. And it's like you're not gonna remove me. I'm from the South. They told me the South wasn't gonna make it. We made it. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm unmovable. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I'm just here.
That's good. I got another one that came in that was asking about your business ventures, right? Such as JD's Vegan Ice Cream. In the vegan ice cream in Walmart stores, with projects like that, like how did that come about? Was that something you were looking for, something you stumbled across, something that came up? Like, how did you get into the ice cream business?
Well, I created JD's Vegan Ice Cream from scratch. I'm vegan. I've been vegan for 20 years. And I'm actually on a fast. Today's my 17th day on my fast, and I haven't had any food for 17 days, so I'm really hungry right now. But I'm really, I'm vegan, so I wanted to do something that really, really spoke to my lifestyle. No knock to anybody else in hip hop, but everything in hip hop that's sold is bad for you. And whether it's liquor, whether it's a lot of liquor basically, and a lot of other things that's sold in hip hop are not healthy for us as individuals, right? And I'm like I said, I'm vegan for 20 years, so it didn't make sense for me to do anything in a space that didn't reflect my life, right? So I started thinking about what I could do in the vegan space. And once I started paying attention to it and getting education about it, I realized that it wasn't a lot of young people or young hip people that was talking about health in the black generation, in the black community, right? The way I'm from in College Park, it's no Whole Foods, it's none of these places on the South Side. So it started really looking like black people are not supposed to be healthy. That's what it started looking like to me. And when I started looking around, right, I'm start going to these places. I start discovering a different part of Atlanta. Like if I wanted some like vegan soul food, I had to go to the west side, and it was inside a little plaza that, like right beside a liquor store that was smaller than this chair right here. Like it's like, right? And I'm just like, damn, this is crazy, because if if people want to be healthy, you got to do a lot to be healthy.
Yeah.
Right? So then it just started opening my mind up of like, how can I do things and get this information out to people, to the masses, in a space where health is not actually generated to my community. So, ice cream, everybody loves ice cream, right? It's what it is. And that's another thing, like when I go to restaurants and I'm eating, they always come out and they say, well, my friends, they get a cake, creme brulee, or whatever they be getting, all of this different stuff, and then they bring me a bowl of strawberries, and I'm like, thank you, but I want something with some taste. I want some flavor. I need something. Y'all don't care about this, right? And they don't care about people that want to be healthy. And I started thinking more about those that want to be healthy and people that want to be in the space, just because we should be able to have something that's good for us, that's also healthy for us, right? That's fun, right? So ice cream came from there, and then it just started thinking about the flavors and what I would do to incorporate my songs into the, so Strawberry Sweetheart, Chocolate My Way,
was it 404?
Yeah, the 404 cookies and cream, the Welcome to Atlanta peach cobbler ice cream. So I just did things like that, and once again, I started this, and people was telling me no, right? This is starting over. I mean, I'm not even starting over. This is the first time I ever did this. I'm going to ice cream business. But immediately, 20 to 50, 30, 100 people start calling me talking about how amazing this ice cream was. That's all I need. That's it. That's all I needed. If 100 people tell me my ice cream was popping, I'm going to the races. I'm running, right? And I'm going to knock on everybody's door. I'm posting it. I'm doing everything that I got to do. And me doing that made Walmart call me, right? And Walmart called.
So they called you.
Yeah, Walmart called me. I didn't actually go to them. Walmart called me, and they was like, "What's up with this ice cream?" And I'm like, what's up with y'all? What's happening? What we doing? You know what I mean? And like I said, I didn't know, from my own education, I didn't know that it was companies like Walmart that's out here that want to educate the black community, but they don't know how. They want to help people eat healthier, but they don't know how, and they don't have nobody that's cool enough to help talk to y'all about it, right? I'm that guy. That's who I am. So, and then and the name of JD's Vegan, it was just like, let's just be as blunt as we could possibly be. When people leave here and y'all hear me say I've been vegan for 20 years, when you tell somebody else, you're gonna say JD is vegan. That's the name of the company, right? It's just what it is, right? But you're gonna say JD's been vegan for 20 years. So it's like, people say they be calling me JD like they know me, right? So I'm just like, cool, you're gonna say JD's vegan. So it was just like a whole thing of like my actual life, like put my actual life into a company and let's see how we can make it work.
So, y'all go. And I will validate for everybody, right? Whenever we do meals here for our clients, our vegans be like, if you feed me salad one more time, they're like, you won't have something else on this menu other than this lettuce. But then we run into a problem, right? We get stuff for the vegans, and then everybody else vegan all of a sudden eat all their food.
And by the way, this is another thing, like I said, I actually sometimes feel like the kid in the Slumdog Millionaire movie, because it's like things that happen to me, they start coming back in life as a lesson. And I'm like, damn, I know this because of this, and I know this because of this. So I went to the Bahamas, took my mother to the Bahamas recently, and I took her to eat in a couple of restaurants. And I realized there's no restaurants on the island that cater to anything healthy. They don't care about this. It's not a care there, They might have a little cauliflower here and there, but other than that, it's not a real care for this. And just that gap in itself of me being at the Bahamas and seeing how big of a gap this is, it allows me to know how much bigger my business is going to become at JD's Vegan. And it allows me to know how much space I'm going to cover, because there's nobody else doing it. I'm going to run rapid. I'm letting y'all know this right now. The one thing I did, I made a mistake, because I didn't know how serious Walmart was when they called me. So they called and they was like, you got ice cream? We want to do a deal. I'm like, yeah, I got ice cream. Let's go. I have a little bit of ice cream. I didn't have 1 million pints of ice cream. I had 50,000 pints of ice cream.
How much did they want?
That's what I'm getting ready to get to. So they called. They was like, how much, so first they wanted to put the ice cream out online. And they was like, let's see how good it does first before we put you in the stores. So they put us online, and it became the #1 frozen food at Walmart online, right? It was flying out just off, right? So then at that point, they said, Jermaine, we want to put you in 750 stores. And I'm still bluffing, like, yeah, let's go. Let's go, let's get it, let's go. And we was cool until it actually got into the stores, and those 100 people that I was telling you about that liked it before, the reflection turned into 100,000 people liking this ice cream, right? And here in Atlanta, I started selling 1,000 pints of ice cream a week. I only had 50,000 people. Listen, right? So if you tried to find JD's Vegan right now, it's because I ran out. I completely ran out of ice cream, and the last order that I got was for 1.5 million pints of ice cream from Walmart.
Wow.
And I didn't have 1.5 million pints of ice cream. And, you know, by the way, that sounds like a lot. This sounds like a lot. But, like, all those other ice cream companies, like, what's the one?
Buyers or whatever.
Yeah, they doing 20 million pints of ice cream, right? Just so you'll know what type of scale that I have to get to. But I was just like, you know, I didn't know we made 50,000. I didn't know where it was going to be at, and I didn't know I was going to get that call. Now I know, like I said, I'm about to run rampant, but that's you know, that's the business of the situation.
With a business, young go ahead. With a business like that, how hands-on are you? Because you got so many other things going on too, right? It ain't like, hey, this is my only business. How hands-on are you? Is it like a team that's doing a lot of day-to-day? Like, how much of it are you in the weeds of it or not?
Now, I'm 100% hands-on on everything. I don't believe in, like, desk CEOs, right? That's something I always had a problem with from day one. It's like, I don't understand how you think you know more than me if you sitting in the office. I'm out here. I went to Bentonville for the first time in my life to actually go to the Walmart offices when they called. I went there. I walked through Walmart. I saw exactly what Walmart is doing. And, you know, I got a real true understanding of information that I could come back to people with, and at that point let them go, right? Let them work. But as far as my business goes, it's really never nobody that has more information than me.
With that company, because you saw the 100 people interested, then 100,000 people interested, is the goal to maintain this ice cream, to expand that brand, or is it just like, hey, let me see where it go?
No. So JD's Vegan, that's why I titled it JD's Vegan, because I didn't want to just say JD's Vegan ice cream. It's JD's Vegan. That means it's going to be JD Vegan, a bunch of products, right? Not just ice cream. It's going to be a whole bunch of vegan products that come out that, you know, like I said, as you know, and that's what I said, if you're not out here in the mix and you're not moving around and going from restaurant to restaurant and seeing, you don't actually realize that this form of life, veganism, and this space, they need a spokesperson. And I didn't wake up like I want to be the spokesperson, but I realized that I am and I can be. And so therefore it just like made me realize like I just got to come up with more product that can engage non-vegans to want to try it, right? Because that's what the ice cream did. The ice cream had, I think 75% of the people that's buying JD's Vegan ice cream are not vegan people. They just they're trying it because it sounds like it's vegan and it's ice cream. Oh, okay, I might be able to get away with this, right? So then that's where I'm stuck at, trying to create things that give you that same element, that give you the, oh, okay, it's vegan, but I'm not vegan. I could try it and see what happens. And then once you try it, you locked in, right? So that's hard, but that's the idea.
As you do it, the thing is having me think about, as you was talking about that, like you said, is making healthy lifestyles cool, right? And using that influence, massive influence, the entertainers have, the hip-hop has, like you said, for positive towards, like I said, just get people to try it. Like, you ain't got to commit to it, just try it and then see what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just, like, added to your life, you know? It's just a thing you need to add. Like, for the first time in my life, as I've gotten older, and I've had more friends this year tell me that they've been to the doctor, and the doctor told them they got to change their eating patterns than I've ever had, ever. And I'm just like, man, you guys, y'all older than me, so you do realize you need to do this. This is for real, like, you know, because I'm black. I'm from the South. My mother cooks soul food every Sunday like it's Thanksgiving, right? So for me to start saying I'm vegan, people like, black vegans, that don't exist. Like, JD, you better have some of this chicken right here, and you better get this, So for people to even get into the understanding of it was hard. A lot of laughing, a lot of people saying no, like I said before. And now a lot of people that were laughing at me and saying whatever they were saying, they starting to come back saying, JD, I need you to help me, man. I need you to help me figure out, man, the doctor said I need to stop eating like this. And I'm like, I ain't tell you, but I'm trying to tell you. You know what I mean? And that, by the way, I didn't do it to like get people in that space, but like I said, I have noticed that I can help you. I can help you, in that kind of way. So therefore, I'm gonna put my energy into it to try to help people.
With because you have a lot of different things moving. Like, how do you determine what you get involved with, right? Because at the time, you do music. I see you on tour and doing spots with Currency. I see you moving with the ice cream. I hear you about this film, something about Neek Freak, a Freak Neek. Like, how do you determine? Because we got entrepreneurs, right? As they grow, like their time becomes more precious. Like how do you sift through the opportunities and say these are the ones I want to get involved with?
I mean, like I said, I just do what my life is. What's a reflection of my life? If it's happening in my life, I feel like it's something that I should be doing. Like I said, the veganism, I won't be just the owner. I'll be a person that actually needs to eat this food and this stuff because that's what I'm doing. The documentary, The Freak Nick, I'm from Atlanta. This is what happened in my city. It's nobody else should tell this story but me. You know what I mean? It's things like that that's just like they're my part of my life and they speak to me. So, musically, I started when I was a kid. I have a story as a child that I feel like nobody else in this world has from being on tour with Run DMC and Houdini and all these guys when I was 12. So me putting out young artists, me doing the rap game was a reflection of Jermaine Dupri, his life as a kid, give kids an opportunity to be on TV, right? So it's just really like, and coming from the South, I've always had to find my own lane because they never gave us opportunity to ride on the street that they was on, right? So I had to find my own space. I had to figure out a way to get in there. So every time I create something, I'm always thinking of like making sure that it's definitely not the same thing that everybody else is doing because that's me starting over. Like I was always told that the South wasn't supposed to be here in rap. We didn't know what we was doing. Y'all boys country down there. Y'all don't know what y'all. I heard all of this, right? I had to go through that. So in that, me going through that and the trials and tribulations or whatever that is, it makes you create a path that just becomes your own, right? Or and even just crossing, even if you got to cross over their road, you still gonna get there your way. That's how I think.
So tapping into what your life already is doing, the lifestyle, right? As you said that, what I like, you use that word flow. Because that's what it feels like, right? Like, hey, my life is going this way. So then it's easy when you're not going against that actual flow and trying to create something different or something that you're not.
I mean, but by the way, it's difficult, though. It's always difficult because everything that I do, even at the success level that I have, is always still challenged. And I guess that's because, I choose to actually take that road of, like, not jumping on the same road as everybody else. I still want to be over here. I still want to be on this dirt road. Let me come from this dirt road and make it happen, right? I feel like a lot of times it makes my job harder. It makes my life harder. It makes people question why Jermaine Dupri is not mentioned as much as a lot of other different people. And that's basically why. It's just because, like I said, I choose to drive down a different path.
Does that bother you at all or not really? It ain't something you think about?
Nah, it's just the cards that I was dealt. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like I said, once again, I'm from Atlanta. I represent Atlanta to the fullest. So when I go to these other places, I can't try to be from New York. I can't try to be from LA. I've never moved from Atlanta since I became successful. I'm here. This is where I'm at. And I feel like if I move from Atlanta, I'm gonna lose some of my power because that's just one of my built-in mindsets that this is where I do what I do, right? And this is where I understand doing what I do the best.
I'm curious on your thoughts on this. I tell people, because we talked about when we talked earlier, right? I'm from Maryland, D.C. area. There we go. And moved down here. And as I moved down here, I tell people all the time, for entrepreneurs, Atlanta is a special place. It's not the same, right? And they feel like it's hype, but it ain't hype, at least not to me, right? I'm like, it's not the same. It's something different here about the energy, at least for black entrepreneurs. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's the belief. You know, Martin Luther King couldn't have been from nowhere else but Atlanta. Because of the belief and because of the, you know, being, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, nobody ever makes me feel uncomfortable. And I think that's what happens in other cities, especially with black entrepreneurs or people that want to be entrepreneurs. They go places, they meet somebody white, rich, whatever, and they feel like intimidated, right? I've never felt intimidated. I've always felt like, oh man, he got a big old crazy house. I'm gonna get one of them, right? Oh, he got the new Ferrari. Oh, I'm getting that. Now I don't know how I'm gonna get it, but I'm gonna get it, right? And I feel like that's just the energy in Atlanta. It's like people have, you know, and you know, and as I've grown up, I met different other people. My Killer Mike said that Kriss Kross is the reason that he raps. T.I. said that Kriss Kross made him believe that he could be a rapper, you know, that he could be a rapper because he's seen little boys on TV. So I feel like this energy is just, you know, it's not an intimidation. It's just if you see us do it in this city, then you start believing you can do it. And that's just what it is. That's how it goes. When I went to Tyler Perry, thank you. When I went to Tyler Perry's studio and I seen what he did with Fort McPherson, I start going down Old National looking for land. And I'm like...
we talked about that earlier though, right? Like that piece, if you see it, you can be it. Proximity to success, like.
Because it's like, you know, it's given to us very, very easy in a way where you can really, really understand how you get it, right? It's given to you very, very easy in a way where you can really understand how to get it. A lot of times business has been taught and thrown at us in a way that sounds like a foreign language, right? Tyler Perry talks, it's direct. It's very direct of what it is, right? Somebody told him, I think it was the mayor at the time told him, I'll give you this property if you can guarantee me that you're going to hire people and you're going to bring stuff to this side of the town. Psst, hello, can I get that deal? Because that's, you know, so if it's, and it's got to be other pieces of property. That's all I'm thinking about. It's got to be other pieces of property in this city.
Like that.
Where the mayor wants to give it to Jermaine Dupri. And I plan on doing the exact same thing. I mean, and by the way, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but that's just my belief. And I feel like that's the energy that happens in the city of Atlanta with entrepreneurs.
That's good. When you said that, I could already see my inbox blowing up with people sending me links. Like, Jermaine Dupri said he was going to do it. And look, it is, right? He said it to TSB Live.
100%. I'm going to do it. I'm telling you. I have an ice cream brand that's popping, right? And right now, as we speak, we're making millions of pints of ice cream in a different city. My plan is to bring that manufacturer to Atlanta. I can't, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that I could, you know, that's the things I think about. It might not happen, but these are the things that I think about.
Yeah, you got to think about it. It's almost impossible if you don't think about it. I love it. All right, so we got a group of, 1,000+ black entrepreneurs. Any words of just wisdom and insight before we wrap that you want to give to them?
I would say, I'm the guy that you could look at and say that I've tried everything. I've tried the food business. I had a restaurant called Cafe Dupri, and it failed. And the reason why it failed was because I didn't study the restaurant business. I just thought I could jump into it because I'm Jermaine Dupri and people was gonna come eat and it was gonna pop. That's not how you should do it. And don't ever do that like that. Because, business will beat your ass if you don't know nothing about it. Every business. All business. It don't matter what business it is. If you don't get your education and really, really pay attention to what's happening and don't let somebody else tell you, you go see exactly for yourself exactly what's happening. That's all I can tell you. Just put your feet on the floor and become a real owner of whatever it is that you own, and pay attention to it. Because if you don't, it will definitely take over and you will lose.
Did y'all get value from that? All right. TSB Live, give it up, stand on your feet one time.